temperature. It is the 26th day of February 2026. A very good morning. So good to have you join us today. It's Friday. Only good things in store for you today.
Yes, 2 days to the end of the month. Ile weekendi ya mwisho wa mwezi inakaribia. Karibu sana. This is the Morning Cafe. My name is Fred Indimule.
You are right in time for Morning Cafe. Tell us, how's your coffee? How hot is your coffee this morning?
You need some coffee, clearly.
Watu wa Kisumu, wachaneni na mimi. Our question of the day this morning, and what will form the basis of our conversation today.
Yes. Uhuru Kenyatta, silent kingmaker, fading elite, or convenient scapegoat? Because everyone is talking about Uhuru Kenyatta. You look at the dailies even today, it's Uhuru Kenyatta this, Uhuru Kenyatta that. Uhuru Kenyatta this one. Yesterday, some youth were to go to his home. Then they decided, he told them, okay, fine. And I understand him probably. He said, okay, fine, I'm not in a position to host you at this time. Because ingekuaje ati sasa President Uhuru Kenyatta and host some youth at Ishaweri. How would it have looked? Everyone is already accusing him. One, many people within ODM believe that Uhuru Kenyatta is behind the wrangles because they believe he's actually financing Linda Mwananchi. How true that is, we do not know. Meanwhile, within the Kenya Kwanza circles, they believe that Uhuru Kenyatta is actually trying to unseat his successor, William Ruto. Why? Because he revived Azimio. Secondly, he appointed Matiang'i deputy party leader. There are those who even believe that he's behind the united opposition. Meanwhile, Uhuru Kenyatta is very silent.
Ametulia tu kwake.
Amenyamaza.
Just catching jabs and strays. But anyway, if that is true or not, I guess it's a matter of wait and see.
Yes. So that's why we're asking the question, is he the silent kingmaker? Could be that all these things that are said about him, could they be true? Is he a fading elite? A retired president by any standards should actually be fading, but is he? Clearly not. Or is he simply a convenient scapegoat? Watu wamekosa siasa ingine ya kuzungumza wakamua Uhuru Kenyatta ndio siasa. Ukipanda mahali Uhuru Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta. Send us your feedback on this and make sure you use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47 on all our social media pages. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. On X.
TV47 Digital. My handle is at @Ann_Dida.
Mine is at Fred Indimule.
All right, let's come back and take a look at the state of the weather. All right, let's take a look at the state of the weather. The Kenya Met Department has already issued an updated heavy rainfall advisory from February 25th, 2026 up until March 3rd, 2026. We start off in Migori. It's raining this morning and it's 16 degrees. Highs of 23 degrees expected here. Wajir, it's 26 degrees this morning and it's a very sunny day. Highs of 36 degrees in Wajir today. Nyamira is raining this morning and it's 15 degrees. Highs of 22 degrees expected in Nyamira. In Kitui, heavy rainfall being experienced in Kitui this morning. It's 18 degrees, highs of 27 degrees expected today. Murang'a is also raining heavily. It's 14 degrees. Highs of 23 degrees in Murang'a today. In Kisumu, it's also raining. It's 19 degrees this morning. Highs of 24 degrees expected. Now, the weatherman has said that heavy rainfall will be experienced in counties including Migori, of course, Nyamira, Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, West Pokot, Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Trans Nzoia, Nandi, Uasin Gishu, among other counties. And residents in all the mentioned areas have been advised to remain on the lookout for potential floods, flash floods, and of course poor visibility. Let's take a look at the quote of the day.
No need to hurry, no need to sparkle, no need to be anybody but oneself.
All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies. All right, we start off with the Daily Nation today. Bribes to clear rogue doctors. This is an expose by this paper. A scandal. The Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council is tasked with carrying out impartial investigations into complaints of negligence following the death or maiming of patients. But the regulator is now facing accusations of demanding bribes, with errant doctors who play ball getting away with a slap on the wrist as families are left to wait for elusive justice. So this is supposed to be like the regulator of the medical practitioners. So they check if at all a doctor is accused of malpractice. This is the council that decides whether or not to punish such a doctor, but it would appear that there's a lot of bribery within the council. So a doctor found culpable can actually bribe their way out of that accusation. So the Medics Union has demanded immediate dissolution of this council. So they quote here David Kariuki, who's the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, saying the council is committed to upholding the highest standards of integrity, transparency and accountability in regulating the medical and dental professions in Kenya. He says, we take all allegations seriously and strive to ensure fair processes for all parties involved. This is a story on pages 2 and 3 of this paper. And then now the big one, what we are discussing. Ruto Uhuru season 2 duel unfolds, because it would appear that once again after 2022, 2027, according to so many politicians, it will be Uhuru versus Ruto again. Yeah, is it? Remember, in those two instances, President Uhuru Kenyatta is not on the ticket, yet it was still Ruto versus Uhuru. 2027, he'll still not be on the ticket, but they're saying it's still Uhuru versus Ruto. Why? Kwa nini muna insist hivi? All President Ruto's allies are linking his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta to growing opposition to his government, suggesting the next year's general election could set up a replay of their rivalries in the last polls. Dr. Ruto's camp believe Kenyatta is assembling a coalition against his re-election, citing installation of Kalonzo Musyoka as party leader to replace Raila, who died last October, and Fred Matiang'i as Jubilee Party deputy leader. They also see his hand in the factional wars engulfing ODM, and they insist that he is behind the Linda Mwananchi, your movement ya Sifuna, Babu Owino na wengineo. That story on page 7, and it will form the basis of our big discussion today. Other quick highlights here. Opposition's Gusii declaration walisema wanakaa pamoja hadi mwisho. A story on page 6. And yeah, that's the front page of the Daily Nation. Kule ndani, hadithi gani muhimu? Kumbuka ile dawa. Remind me the name again.
Lenacapavir.
It's supposed to be rolled out today in Kenya.
Yes, in Kenya.
Yes, it is nowhere in the dailies. I'm looking for it and I can't see it anywhere.
But we'll see it somewhere.
I will see it somewhere. All right. So that's a big story there. And pale nyuma, a big leap. Olympian and Diego turns pro. Matter Sports. After almost 2 decades in the amateur ranks, history-making Kenyan female boxer Elizabeth and Diego has finally turned professional. This is a 39-year-old captain of the national boxing team. You can read more on that on the back page of the Daily Nation this morning.
All right, the Standard has gone very different today. It talks about RSF passport share. A diplomatic storm is brewing after the US sanctioned Algoni Hamdan Daglo Musa. This is the younger brother of RSF Commander Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo for alleged genocide, weapons procurement and financing paramilitary operations in Sudan. Shockingly, US records show he holds a Kenyan passport, raising questions about how a wallet secured the official document. Now, the revelation threatens to intensify scrutiny over Kenya's past engagements with RSF. This is a story on page 4. The passport number is here on the front page.
Passport number on the front page.
Yes. AK. You would wonder coming in a quick AK-47. But it's AK 1586127 is here on the front page.
Atajificha wapi?
There's no way he can run away from this. Officials, ma'am, Sudan RSF rebel leader found with Kenyan passport. Among other things, he's accused of genocide, moving money, and sourcing weapons. There's a story on page 4. The immigration official, an immigration official rather, has been quoted here on the inside pages, and he said it's a valid passport number, but I can't comment further. I know things are not looking good. So they know things are not looking good. That's the only story covered on the front page of the Standard, and the inside pages, page 2. Little to show despite governors spending 4.67 trillion shillings since 2013.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
Okay, fine. It could be, how many, 13 years since the rollout of devolution. But 4.67 trillion shillings is a lot of money. Yet, in some counties, there's still a lot of poverty.
Now, it says that ratio of counties' budget spent on development in the last 5 financial years compared to 50% on personnel emoluments and 25% on operation and maintenance is just 25%. So out of 50%, only 25% have been used. On page 3, there's a story here, father wins right to child's name in landmark ruling. Family's agony as kid's body detained in morgue over bill. Another story on page 3. United opposition vows to block the sale of government entities. Leaders say selling Safaricom shares threaten taxpayers and Kenya's economy birthright. They urge voter registration to prevent dictatorship and protect democratic governance. That's a story on page 5. Another story on page 7, Gachagua claims rattle South Rift leaders. In Bomet, former DP claimed Ruto and local leaders had abandoned the region. Area leader accused Gachagua of trying to divide the Kalenjin community. All right, parliamentary purge could alienate ODM from supporters. That's a story on page 6, a very interesting one. It says MPs face wrath of parties for taking stands that are different from the party bosses. Move could, however, boomerang as supporters of these leaders feel slighted by the demotions. On the back page, Bordeaux Glimt have their Champions League future in their hands. And FIFA boss reassured about World Cup in Mexico.
You know what's happening in Mexico? There was protests and fighting, gunfights all over Mexico after the killing of a cartel leader, anaitwa El Mencho. So that's why, because we do expect that Mexico, the US and Canada will be hosting the World Cup. So many people are concerned about the security of teams and football fans who will be traveling for that. But wameambiwa msijali, tutakuwa tu sawa. Hii ni mambo tumezoea hapa Mexico, bunduki ni kitu ya kawaida. All right, that's as far as matters sports are concerned on the back page of the Standard. Let's go to the Star. On the Star today, we talk about pay headache. MPs step in to rescue broke civil servants. There's been this debate about, and there's a rule, one of the labor provisions is that you're not allowed to commit more than 2/3 of your pay. So that your pay slip, even after all deductions, should have at least 1/3 of your pay as take home. But now, since some of these things happened, the introduction of new taxation, the housing levy and others, many civil servants were found to have exceeded that amount. So it went to Parliament, and MPs now say it is okay to take home less than 1/3 of basic pay. So I guess MPs have stepped in to rescue broke civil servants. That's the story on pages 4 and 5. It is now not really a big issue. Even if you take less than 1/3, it's okay, according to Parliament. Ruto opens classrooms as opposition woos Kisii voters, and they've been in Kisii for a while now. So they have 2 pictures here on the front page of the Star. Of the president on one hand and Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka on the other. Alafu wameandika hapa hi cousin. President William Ruto stayed at Westlands Primary School yesterday and Wiper leader during the rally in Nyamache, Kisii yesterday. While vow, I think according to the front page of the Daily Nation, they vowed to stick together till election time. The other story here, the pain, terror and horrors of Shakahola. One of the witnesses against Mackenzie, the pastor ule wa kule Shakahola, anaitwa Enos Amanyangala, Elias Hallelujah. He actually said that Mackenzie actually buried his own child at Shakahola.
Mackenzie's child?
Yes. He was actually giving evidence in court. That story is on page 22. Other stories here, how killer OCS moved from police chief to death row convict. That's someone in the justice corridors, page 9. And there's a feature about dog meat for a peace ritual that settled centuries-old Teso Bukusu land dispute. So they used dog meat for this ritual. That story is on page 25. And I'm still looking for that story, Lena Kapavir. Because that's a big one, and we saw it on the front pages of other papers in the region. But in Kenya, it's like, it's still not a big thing. But now, there's alarm, and there's this story on page 7 of the Star. There's alarm of a drug abuse crisis as 7-year-olds smoke bang according to Nakada.
7-year-olds.
7-year-olds are smoking bang. Our Gen Z na Gen Alpha mambo yao imekuwa ngumu sana. All right, that's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. You can grab yourself a copy of this one for only 60 shillings.
All right, Taifa Leo hawajamalizana. Kina nani hawa? President William Ruto and former President Uhuru Kenyatta on the front page side by side. Kuanzia azimio la umoja wa Kenya mnamo mwaka 2022 hadi wakati huu ambapo kampeni za one term zimechacha, alama za uwepo wa rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta zinaonekana wazi katika siasa za Kenya. Ushirikiano wake na marehemu kiongozi wa ODM Raila Odinga, ushawishi wake kwa kinara wa Wiper Patriotic Front Kalonzo Musyoka, pamoja na tetesi za uhusiano wake na vuguvugu la Linda Mwananchi umegeuza uchaguzi ujao wa Kenya kuwa marudio ya ubabe kati ya Uhuru na Rais Ruto. Washirika wa Ruto wakemea Uhuru wakisema ndiye mfadhili wa kampeni ya kumtungua rais mamlakani. Habari hii iko katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili. Tumezungumzia zaidi katika ukurasa wa mbele wa The Daily Nation. Vidokeza zaidi, maswali tele kuhusu hoteli karibu na Ikulu. Ujenzi wa hoteli karibu na makazi rasmi ya rais, eneo lenye ulinzi mkali, umeibua maswali kuhusu mmiliki halisi. Haikwangi? This hotel, is it a new hotel?
Yes, there's a new construction. This is a State House Nakuru. So there's a new construction very close to State House. It's just there on the road, on the highway. You can actually see it. So because, and debate around state houses and state lodges has been on the dailies this entire week. Walikuwa nasema kuna nyingi watu grab land across. Sasa unasikia kuna jengo limejengwa pale karibu na state na Ikulu ya Nakuru. Pia, there was this debate about land grabbing and this hospital that's very close to State House in Nakuru. Inaitwaje? Annex. Yeah. Imeleta vita sana governor wa Nakuru na wengine. Pia hiyo watu wanasema it could be an issue about land grabbing as well.
Upinzani walenga kwa Ruto baada ya ziara ya Gusii. Muungano upinzani wapanga kuvamia ngome ya rais ya Bonde la Ufa. Ni habari katika ukurasa wa 3. International news, Amerika na Iran warushiana maneno. Rais Trump awasilisha hoja kuhusu uwezekano wa kuishambulia Iran akihutubia Congress. On the top strip, maseneta wakaba koo magavana wajitenga na magavana katika msimamo wao wa kudai shilingi bilioni 534 kama mgao wa kaunti. Na hiyo habari ya Mackenzie alizika pia mtoto wake mchanga, shahidi asema hapo jana. Taifa Leo.
Kwenye gazeti la Taifa Leo tuangazie People Daily. Is Kenya sliding towards a repeat of the 2007 post-election chaos? It is among the issues we were discussing even yesterday on the panel, the issues around security and the proliferation of gangs, political gangs and goons, some of them supervised by police. So this story has been given quite some coverage on pages 3, 4 and 5 of the People Daily. Violence at rallies, we've seen mistrust in the electoral agency, waning popularity of the incumbent and worrying socioeconomic status of the citizens are all painful ingredients, frightfully similar to the political situation 20 years ago. And you know, when we look at 20 years ago as such a very long time, but anyone who was there around 2007 can actually have memories of what happened. It is a situation that no Kenyan would want to go back to. But the red flags are already there. The violence that we're already witnessing, some even using police guns and tear gas at rallies. The fact that police have been accused of not countering this kind of chaos and probably even accompanying goons. Many people are saying, well, this is not good. This is actually a recipe for disaster. Na meanwhile, NCIC wamenyamaza tu. Other quick highlights on the front page of the People Daily, how 2 tribes control key jobs in 4 parastatals, and this comes from a report by the Public Service Commission that a few communities, but this has always been there. Every year, wanasema this community and the other 3 or 4 of them, tunazijua. They're the ones dominating the public service and even positions in parastatals. Why anti-broad-based MPs were stripped of key House committees' roles. One of them is Karoli Omondi, who used to chair a committee in Parliament yesterday. Aliamka akasema, well, because every member of Parliament has to serve at least in one committee. He was in only one committee as chair. Now he says he's not in any committee. But at least they're supposed to be at least in one committee. Yeah.
Ruth Odinga.
Ruth Odinga also. And that I think ndo imeibua tetesi mingi zaidi.
Kabisa.
That the sister of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the former party leader, hata yeye anaweza tolewa kwa committee. Anyway, lakini unajua party leader saisi ni ndugu yake.
Yes.
Sasa ni mambo ya familia watasort out kule nyumbani. People Daily. People and politics, emerging voices.
Finally, Business Daily. Worst ministries, agencies in supplier payments revealed. This is the front page of the Business Daily. It says 7 ministries, including the presidency, 2 commissions in Nairobi County, are in the blacklist of public entities incapable of paying billions of shillings owed to suppliers, setting up several businesses for collapse and auction. Now, state departments under the ministries, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and the National Land Commission are unable to settle pending bills in excess of 135 billion shillings from budgetary allocations, disclosures by the Parliamentary Budget Office, PBO shows. Now, the PPO says in a report that Nairobi, the 7 ministries, the IEBC and the Land Commission cannot pay that amount. That is 135 billion shillings. This is the story on page 2. Transport CS is here. Davis Chirchir, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is also here. And of course, the IEBC chairperson, Erastus Ethicon, is also here on the front page. Sakaja's really suffered since last week.
After he signed off those functions, he hasn't seen peace.
Sakaja is seeing bad things, but we are praying for you. Police denied insurance compensation after 2 billion shillings default. That's another story on page 2 on the ticker. Pressure piles on Treasury over infrastructure fund. Experts have flagged gaps in the proposed law that seeks to create a national infrastructure fund, warning that they expose the endowment to risk of political patronage and financial leaks. Wanasema yes, itakuwa PPP, lakini hiyo pesa tuko sure itatumika vipi kwa the NIF, National Infrastructure Fund, ama maybe there's somebody who will just come and take that money and use it for something else. So that's what's at stake here. It's a story on page 4. Chinese firm lines up 2 billion shillings copper mining plant in Makueni and CBK bond sales to limit upward rates pressure. That's the Business Daily this morning.
All right, let's take a look at what's big within the region, and we take a look at Uganda. We start off with the Daily Monitor. Yes, at least I can see the story of HIV Paleju. But before we get to that, on the front page of the Daily Monitor, this is interesting because if this story can actually be replicated in Kenya, people will be very comfortable. Plan to evict borders starts. They call it a solution. In a move that authorities say intends to organize the border sector and its related criminality and restore sanity and order in the city, the plan seeks to ban any unregistered border from accessing the 5 city divisions, kule Kampala. This is something that even Kenyans would want to see.
Yes.
There's been a lot of discussion about the disorder that is brought about by the borders. I know they've become uncontrollable. They're even being used by politicians to ferry goons. They are also considered to be among the biggest risk when it comes to crime, petty crimes within the city. So yes, in Kampala at least wameanza kushughulikia hao. Hata hapa Nairobi, huyo Sakaja unasema ashughulikie haya pia.
Kwanza CBD is very, very chaotic.
Yes, especially the
one way road, unaangalia left, pikipiki inatoka right. Inatoka
upande, the wrong side of the road.
Yes.
Yes. Alafu akikugonga anakukasirikia sana.
Hakuna pole, nakwambia toka kwa barabara uangalie.
Other quick highlights hapa, Museveni pledges security support. Lakini pale juu, that mention of the lenacapavir. 19,200 doses of HIV prevention drug arrive in Uganda. In Kenya, it is to be rolled out today. So the shipment supported by the Global Fund arrived on Monday and will be distributed to high burden and high incident districts as part of efforts to stem the tide of new infections. This is according to the Ministry of Health in Uganda. Same thing is happening in Kenya. They roll out today. But I don't know why we rarely see something as big as this. When it's related to HIV, most of our dailies are not really interested in that story. Anyway, this is the front page of the Daily Monitor in Uganda. Truth every day, Daily Monitor.
All right. New Vision government workers paid for 47 billion shillings illegal benefits. Auditor General implicates over 1,300 civil servants. So Auditor Generals are working across board overtime. Who is behind destruction of Bugoma Forest Reserve is a story captured on page 6 of the New Vision. Archbishop Kazimba rallies Ugandans for Harvest Money Expo. Makerere University passes out a record of 215 PhDs. Graduation is in progress this whole week.
Yes.
Started Monday.
Week-long graduation.
Started yesterday?
Yes.
Monday.
Week-long. I think it started on Monday.
Yes. So that's the new vision.
Let's cross over to Tanzania, and we start off with the Citizen. ESC financial strain triggers debate on defaulting states. A worsening financial crisis in the East African community is raising tough questions about whether partner states that fail to honor their financial obligations deserve to remain in the regional bloc. Yes. And they quote here, wanasema nini? Kenya's President, William Ruto, who's actually the chair, has summoned an emergency summit in March to tackle the financial crisis, with experts saying that the gathering could shape the community's future course. Dr. Freddy Mutabi, a diplomat expert, says the summit carries unusual heft because the organization is currently in an operational crisis. Some countries are not making their contribution, and that's why even MPs are not getting paid, EALA MPs. Some of the... And if you look at this map, of all the East African countries, each of the country has outstanding amounts, apart from Kenya. Kenya ndio iko na zero. Wengine wote, like Uganda, owes $1 million. South Sudan, $22 million. Somalia, $11 million. Rwanda, $5 million. DR Congo, $28 million. Burundi, $23 million. Tanzania, which plays host to the ESC, owes $122,694. So Kenya is the only country within East Africa that has paid up its contribution. Yes. That's a big story there. The other story is vulnerable groups named as government issues COVID-19 influenza alert. I've heard this even in Kenya, people saying that COVID-19, ni kama kihoma kimerudi, watu wanasema ni COVID-19. In Kenya, we're not talking about it, but in Tanzania, it's official. The government has said there's an alert, COVID-19. Yes.
Gazeti la Mwananchi, nizamu vigogo CCM kufyekwa. Ni Chama cha Mapinduzi. Vikao vya juu vyaanza kuchora ramani, sekretarieti ya Daktari Migiro kufumwa upya, vuguvugu uchaguzi wa CCM na makundi ya jipanga. Ni habari tu katika ukurasa wa 4. This is the ruling party in Tanzania. Vigogo kufyekwa kule. Can that happen in Kenya? Vigogo wale ambao wameshikilia chama waamue kutolewa.
Unajua chama cha ODM wakati huu wana masuala kama hayo. Ya kuondoa vigogo chamani.
Leti jicho. Huyu ndiye Pengo, dada yake asimulie maisha yake kabla ya utume. Ni habari nyingine hapo katika ukurasa wa ndani wa gazeti hili. Mauaji ya Ngoma kuamsha vita mpya, na habari nyingine hapa inasema kwamba Aisha ateuliwa mjumbe mpya bodi ya MCL. Nafikiri hii ni
masuala ya gazeti Mwananchi
Communications Limited. Kule juu the top strip CUF hakupoi dunga tinga kwa msajili. This is as far as regional daily.
Yes, lakini pia wamezungumzia habari hiyo ya sababu ongezeko la mafua, wanasema COVID-19 wataalamu waonya kule Tanzania. Nafikiri hapa Kenya pia tukiendelea hivi vile tutaendelea. Tutasikia masuala ya COVID-19 hapa na pale. Tuangazie karakacha sasa, and we start off with the People Daily. The cartoon on the People Daily has caricatures of the United Opposition, the luminaries there. I can see Eugene Wamalwa, ule jamaa Mulima, Wiper na mwingine pale, hata yule wa PLP ameshika maua. So wana welcome nani? Sifuna. Sema welcome, what have you brought for us? Sifuna naye amekuja na ile fire extinguisher, anasema it is called Sifuna extinguisher. Itazima kazongo kama bangi.
Kama hiyo nyongi.
Kama nyongi ya jana.
Interesting.
That's a cartoon on the People Daily.
Stano Stake, the Standard. We have two pictures here. On one side, voter registration. Wakenya, they're not lining up to register as voters. But on the other side, Lena Kapavia is here, anti-HIV injection, the PrEP. Everyone, couples, singles, kila mtu ana line up to get
kuna jamaa amekuja na pesa kwa sanduku anataka kununua.
Yes. It's about 7,000 Kenyan shillings, thereabouts.
So more people are interested in the anti-HIV drug than voter registration.
Yes.
All right. But it's interesting, this conversation in Kenya is only in the cartoons. It's not in the main stories. All right, the cartoon on the Daily Nation talks about what's happening. Kenya Kwanza upande mmoja, two frames as well. Kenya Kwanza upande mmoja waliambia jamaa go. Nani huyo? Ule alikuwa deputy president akaambiwa go na akang'oka na mguu moja ya gari. Ya ODM ni kama boat. Chungwa imekatika katikati, kuna wale wamebaki kwenye boti, mwingine amekata, hii boti yenyewe imekatika. Alafu ambaye you may go as well. Sifuna pale anaambiwa anaweza ondoka. Kuhitaji vyama, siasa za vyama kwenye karakacha ya Daily Nation.
Finally, the star, the three people here, PS Interior, Raymond Omolo in the middle, protecting Mama County Nairobi. Esther Pasari is from Embakasi East MP. Babu Owino.
Alikuwa amemwamkia.
Alikuwa anarusha mawe pale.
Alikuwa anarusha mawe.
Akimwambia mambo pale. It's all over social media. You can find it if you want. Kiangalia vizuri utapata. Lakini hapo Raymond has been caricatured akimlinda. Lakini anajaribu kusema Raymond is too big for Babu, because Babu anakaa ni kama ni mtoto in this caricature. Amevaa kinyasa kadogo.
Ni karakacha.
Ni karakacha. Hii ni take your zone pale. These are the stories making headlines locally and regionally. Let's come back and take a look at the state of the roads in Nairobi this morning.
At exactly 6:30 this morning, this is a state of the roads across the city. Let's start off with Thika Road. We can see traffic building up, especially around Garden City Mall, that stretch of yellow all the way from Kasarani towards Garden City Mall. Further north, Kahawa Wendani, Githurai stage, it's also building up, nothing to worry about. And then kama kawaida pale Pangani interchange, pia pale imeanza kushikana chock-a-block. All the way from KCA University down Utalii Drift, pale Survey. The other major road that you can see traffic build-up is Jogoo Road heading towards town, that Makadara stretch all the way past the Likoni Road roundabout and towards Shauri Moyo. Hii traffic imefika pale ile junction ya kwenda Eastleigh. So expect slow traffic, but ini kawaida. Inside the CBD, traffic kama kawaida is building up. Areas around Landis Road, Haile Selassie Avenue on both sides of the road between Railways Bus Station and Landis Road roundabout. Twende upande ingine. Today, Outer Ring Road not looking bad. Fedha Tasia ni kama hawajaamka mapema sana leo, so they are not having trouble ya traffic. Ukiangalia upande mwingine all the way Utawala pale KQ headquarters, hiyo roundabout iko pale kwa jeshi. Traffic is building up there. Hii roundabout huwa inaleta shida sana. After that, all the way to the City Cabanas interchange, not so bad, but traffic is building up as matatus pick and drop passengers on the road. Let's focus now on Mombasa Road, all the way from the airport into the CBD, nothing to worry about. Ile first floor na ile ya chini. Isipokuwa pale Imara Daima, a bit of traffic on Mombasa Road itself, but ukipanda juu expressway, you will have a smooth ride all the way past the interchange at Ole Sereni into town. A bit of traffic at Capital Center, especially on the main Mombasa Road, but on the expressway into town, it's looking green. Other roads on the western side of the city, Southern Bypass, Langata Road, Ngong Road, looking green all the way into town. ABC Place, that's Wayaki Way, all the way to Museum Hill interchange and into the CBD is looking green as well. So nothing out of the ordinary today. Isipokuwa pale Pangani interchange is building up, lakini hiyo ni kawaida.
And that's 32 minutes past 6 a.m.
Yes, one of our guests, this is Julius Ruto, MP Kesses constituency, is already in studio, ready to discuss the headlines. Karibu sana, Bwana Ruto.
Thank you.
Yes, good morning, karibu sana.
Good morning, thank you.
Yes. We'll be discussing a lot, especially Uhuru Kenyatta, once again. Uhuru Kenyatta this, Uhuru Kenyatta that. ODM wanaongea kuhusu Uhuru Kenyatta. Kenya Kwanza wanazungumzia Uhuru Kenyatta. Hata Rigathi Gachagua anasema Uhuru Kenyatta. Mtu asijaribu kuguza huyo Uhuru Kenyatta. Vijana pia walikuwa wanataka kwenda kwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Why are we discussing Uhuru Kenyatta over and over again? It is part of the questions that we are asking this morning, and we are welcoming and inviting your feedback. Kindly ensure that you interact with us. Uhuru Kenyatta, silent kingmaker, fading elite, or convenient scapegoat. Use the hashtag MorningCafeTV47 on all our social media pages. And
TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital, and Odida is my handle.
my handle on X is at Fred Indemuli. See you after the break. All right, good morning once again and welcome back. This is a Morning Cafe on TV47 with me, Fred Indimuli, ready to take a look at the big headlines this morning. This morning I'm privileged to be with Julius Ruto, MP Keses. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Next to Bwana Ruto, we have Dr. Peter Mbai, who's the Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs at the DCP. Karibu sana. We're hoping to get another gentleman on this panel, but we'll start off the conversation today. Uhuru this, Uhuru that. And I'm looking at most of the dailies, or at least two of them. On the front page of Taifa Leo wanasema hawajamalizana. Washirika wa Ruto wakemea Uhuru wakisema ndiye mfadhili wa kampeni za kumtungua rais mamlakani. Front page of the Daily Nation, the story reads, Ruto Uhuru Season 2 duel unfolds. It should be noted that in the elections of 2022 and obviously in the elections of 2027, President or retired President Uhuru Kenyatta was not on the presidential ballot, and he will not be on the ballot come 2027. But according to this paper, it is still a duel between the current president and his predecessor. Why is this? Let's listen to what many of the political players, including some young Kenyans, have said about the retired president.
And I want to challenge William Ruto, if he's a man enough to abuse President Kenyatta himself. Stop sending some leaders to abuse President Kenyatta on your behalf. Do it yourself if you are man enough. Abuse him. And let me say, I will not allow President Uhuru Kenyatta to be intimidated. I have a responsibility as a leader from the region to defend our son, our kinsman. President Uhuru Kenyatta must be allowed to retire in dignity. He must be allowed to enjoy his constitutional freedom to do whatever he wants. If he wants to work with us, why not? If he wants to work with Rigathi Gachagua to unite the mountain, to unite Kenya, why not? And I want to tell William Ruto, I heard him saying that Azimio cannot be anything without ODM. He is lost. The ODM of Raila Odinga is not the ODM of today. What William Ruto is holding is a shell of ODM, the fake one, of Junet Mohammed, Gladys Wanga, and Oburu Odinga. The ODMB, the one with the people, is gone and is in one term.
YELAF postponed the road to Ishaweri convening. We are very clear on that position. As such, any individual or any group that appears at Ishaweri today claiming to represent us as YELAF does not speak for us and is not acting on our instruction or authority. YELAF does not condone disorder, chaos, or the use of young people for disruption. And it is this last bit of information that made us to change our mind, which is the intelligence that we received, that there was a group being organized somewhere in Gikomba that was going to come and cause havoc.
In maybe 2-3 weeks' time, we'll have a date, something that is well organized, something that will not be infiltrated.
We are going to Ishaweri to seek for mentorship, to understand the history of our nation, and also to extend. The fourth president has extended an arm to listen to us.
Yes, indeed. And those are just some of the pronouncements with regard to retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's involvement of otherwise in the Kenyan political scene. Today we are asking, is he simply a scapegoat? Or is he that relevant in the Kenyan politics towards 2027? Let's start with you, Bwana Ruto. From your end, because accusations coming from the Kenya Kwanza grouping is that President or retired President Uhuru Kenyatta is a bit too involved. And this is causing some discomfort to the current president. Is that the reality?
Thank you so much, Indimuli, and of course Kenyans who are following this morning discussion. Truth be said, except that the first founding president of the Republic of Kenya, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who passed on at office, and therefore we don't have his issue post office like the rest who have gone. That is the three of them: the late Mwai Kibaki, the late Mzee Moi, whom after retirement they went home quietly, and they were never had anywhere near any platform discussing matters, issues, political parties, issues criticizing the government of the day after handing over. They went home peacefully and they enjoyed their retirement quietly until and when they rested at their time that God had given them to leave. That is Mzee Moi and Mzee Mwai Kibaki. This is the first time that we are experiencing a retired president actively involved back in matters politics. And of course, even within the region, I dare quote that one because we have Tanzania, we know we have Jakaya Kikwete, other than being a person of eminence, and when issues are not going well, he comes in on an advisory level, not actively pushing, campaigning. We've seen retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, most of the time on matters party, he has made several pronunciations. He has even unpicked somebody like the other day pronounced that his preferred successor in terms of future politics of the party would be Matiang'i. You know, we've seen him donning the party attires. We've seen him pronouncing and at times making statements critiquing the current administration. And for that purpose, and then it shows that instead of him enjoying what is provided for him as a person of eminence, a diplomatic person, he has come down to engage on the active issues. And that is why he's inviting all these political response.
You
because at any given time...
You've talked about Tanzania. Allow me to challenge you. You've talked about President Kikwete. We had elections in Tanzania last year, and he was very visible at CCM party meetings, even wearing the party colors, even campaigning for President Samia Suluhu Hassan.
But follow his statements.
What is so different?
Follow his words.
What is so different about President there?
The difference is the words. Look at the speech he's making. Look at the speech former president is making in Kenya. Mm-hmm. He has to invite criticism. He has to invite response. In politics, it's all about response. Mm-hmm. You say a statement, when I'm not in line with you or when I don't agree on you, you give me an opportunity for me to respond. So when the moment we engage with you, when you ought to be silent in the sense that you only being invited or you give words of wisdom, when things are not going well, because political dimension, you know, sometimes remember we've come through an experience like 2007. We had to invite retired presidents from Tanzania. We invited the wife of the late Nelson Mandela. You know, they came in at that time and they were healing because of what they own. So today, if Uhuru Kenyatta, who is actively involved and causing disruption and instability in Kenya, how can he be invited somewhere else to go and show and help a country that will be going through a situation like what we are going through in Kenya? Mm-hmm. That is, from my point of view, it is an area that any other president, the moment you've served your politics and it has given you to rise to a higher office of a president, what remains there? Yeah. What you need to do is give guidance, hand over, and let the rest, unless on a guidance point of view. But the moment you come to front line, you invite your name.
But is that a legitimate expectation, Dr. Mbai? Is it really a legitimate expectation that a retired president should in no way get involved in politics? The political Article 38 of our Constitution on political rights, on Part 2, the rights and fundamental freedom, reads that every citizen, without exception, every citizen is free to make political choices, which include the right to participate in forming a political party, to participate in the activities of or recruit members for a political party, or to campaign for a political party or cause. Is it, and I know the Retirement Benefits Act is quoted a lot when it comes to this, but is it a legitimate expectation that a retired president will stay clear or steer clear of politics?
Thanks so much, Fred, and my colleagues, the honorable members. I want to say this. I'm so shocked. I'm surprised that now a sitting government 4 years, you know, in power, can now begin being obsessed by a retired president issues. It's very serious. You have power, you have GSU, you have NIS, you have tear gas, yeah? You have everything you had ever dreamt of getting by hook or crook, you have it. 4 years down the line, you would have done so marvelous, such that even if the former president would say anything in the political circles, you'll be ahead. Because you have been in power. I don't understand. You cannot begin sending people like Farouk and other people all over to begin crying about the former president leading. Number two, I have just seen your video. Who looked for who? Who started? Who launched Uhuru Kenyatta into this space? It is William Ruto. He went looking for him in Wishaweri. He literally went for 4 hours and they started there talking. Why? Because he's the one who began thinking, these men can be useful around here. But number three, let me ask. The President Uhuru Kenyatta has every right on this earth. Actually, his prophecy has come to pass that my deputy is unfit to lead. So, the former president has some right to right the wrongs that have been done. He is a citizen. He is an entrepreneur. He is an investor. So you cannot begin talking about, the other day I had some, and I don't know why, all governments make the same mistakes. So now you are threatening who? Who are you threatening? The former president? I mean, he doesn't need your money. It is you to give him by law. It doesn't have to come and beg with something you are calling retirement benefits and all that. He's not a poor man. So, we are going to stop his money and all that. Now, that shows one thing. The government is terrified. The government knows what it has done. Only the guilty are afraid. They know what they have done 4 years later, the cry of the people across, and they have not been fearing Uhuru Kenyatta. And exactly what they are fearing is what going to meet them. Okay. Next year, including the entire united opposition, including the retired president, everybody else is just coming to say nothing personal against the community. One man who said he is going to do ABCD, who has not done, for real, he is going home. That's the bottom line.
Allow me to welcome Bwana Peter Orero into this conversation. Bwana Orero is the MP Kibra constituency. Karibu sana and good morning.
Good morning.
We're discussing Uhuru Kenyatta, and the question we're asking today is, why should we be talking about Uhuru Kenyatta right now, even within ODM circles? There are those who feel that even the current wrangles within your party are a direct result of actions by Uhuru Kenyatta. Is that the reality, or is he simply a convenient scapegoat for anyone in the political space right now? That, you can just say it is Uhuru Kenyatta doing this and he doesn't have to respond.
I think you have read Article 38. Is it 38?
Yes.
It should also be read with the other articles, especially that deals with the pension, the retirements. Before I just say anything, as a person, I would wish that we change this constitution, that our president should be over 65 years, so that when you retire, you have no energy to come back.
But
you
why?
retire and you are tired. I want to say this. Look at former President Mwai Kibaki. During his reign and during his time, when he retired, nobody heard about him because he had served the nation to the best of his ability, but the age also now allowed him to let the others work without any interference. Our former president is not any other person, and not just a former president. You know, he came from a family that the father was also a president, and that is why my colleague here is able to say that he does not require pension to do his activities. He is endowed. He is a business person. He is involved in all spheres in the running of this country, even the economy of this country. So what we are saying is that, not that people are saying is a scapegoat. We cannot limit somebody's democratic right. That is okay. But just as you have seen, it is going to be Uhuru versus Ruto too. But I blame Uhuru himself. He cannot come back now and say that his former deputy for 10 years, that has really nothing to offer for Kenya. It means that Uhuru also is to blame if he's blaming his former deputy. They ran this country for 10 years as we were in opposition, trying to complain. But the same Uhuru also allowed his deputy to ascend to presidency.
Okay.
And as Kenyans, our former president just needs to guide the nation. We don't need to get involved so much into the intricates, the small things of running parties and deciding who succeeds. But also,
for example, William Ruto is currently 59 years. If he goes, let's say, even to 2032, he'll probably be 65. Still very young.
That is the problem that we have.
Do you have the same expectation that once he gets to that point, he should not in any way be involved in Kenya's politics?
Yeah, that is what we should have. When he retires, he should take lessons. Because now, if he says Uhuru is interfering, then he should take lessons that when he retires, he should not interfere with our next president.
Next question is that the same Retirement and Benefits Act also covered the position of Prime Minister. Once Raila Odinga left that position, he was still very actively involved in Kenyan politics despite his advanced age. Would we say the same, that he should not have done so?
I think the position of the Prime Minister then, as it was crafted, you know there are a lot of limitations on most of the duties of the Prime Minister. And let us look at our constitution about the kind of constitution now we have. It gives powers, all the powers to a party which has won the election. So it renders normally the position of the Prime Minister to almost useless. He had no express authority to act on his own. It was like he was just appointed like any other minister. So I think that did not give him the leeway that he acted as a real prime minister. So I think he had still a lot of hopes that he needs to be a president to do something. But we need to look at these clauses that prevents the office of either the presidency or the office of the prime minister when they retire, and they should not get involved.
Do you believe that Uhuru Kenyatta is behind the wrangles in ODM?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Now asking about you, do you believe he is?
Of course, I believe. There are evidential backgrounds that maybe we will not discuss here, but there are evidential backgrounds that he is actually involved. Yes, a lot of evidence that is actually involved, and this may be tabled, but we are not, I don't think it is a big deal because he has his democratic right. I think as Kenyans, we need to weigh what we expect as Kenyan people, whether he is right or not. The judgment is not about Uhuru or about His Excellency Ruto. The judgment should be about Kenyans.
Yes.
It is us Kenyans who should see what is right and what is wrong.
All right.
And from there, now we can make informed judgment. And as we are moving on, things will unfold. Okay. And Kenyan politics, 1 day or 2 days is a long time. We've seen 1.5 years.
But for today, at least the headlines are reading that it is between Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta come next year. But what are the people saying online? And what are people saying about this discussion?
Let's take a look at some of the feedback we're getting this morning, Fred. John Waguloba says, all right.
Move on.
Kenneth Itonga says, a Kenyan citizen. True Timbuk 3 says he doesn't know politics. We're referring to Uhuru Kenyatta. Nutritionist Bet says, convenient scapegoat. Isaiah Konde says, fading elite. Masai Wakajiado, silent kingmaker. Sky Tikari says, people are anticipating too much from him. He's enjoying his retirement. Collins Luvonga, a convenient scapegoat. All right. Our question of the day once again, if we can have it on screen. Uhuru Kenyatta, silent kingmaker, fading elite, or convenient scapegoat? The hashtag to use is Morning Cafe TV47. Talk to us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube and X at TV47 Digital. So ni kama tunasumbua Uhuru akiwa kule nyumbani. What do you think, Vitorero?
Yes, that question, is he a silent kingmaker? Is he a fading elite, as many would expect him to be? Or is he simply a scapegoat? Siasa imefika mahali kashinda watu wanasema tu Uhuru Kenyatta ndio shida. Uhuru Kenyatta ndio shida.
There is one question that you failed to include there. Whether does he have some interest he want to protect? Because all along it's about power. If you have served for your time, you've left out, and then what is this worrying you?
How influential can a retired president be?
I'm asking first, there should be another question there, a fourth one, so that we get to know from Kenyans whether he has some interest that is, he want to protect, and he feels the current administration is exposing him so much. Because truth be said, number one, as I said, if you remember 2002, during the reign of President Moi, when he was unpicking Uhuru Kenyatta for his candidature of Kano. Of course, right now, Uhuru has grown as majority. If you would pick Uhuru of that time and Uhuru of now, I mean, the last person who should have attacked his deputy president was Uhuru Kenyatta, because, well, Raila Odinga was there, was seasoned politician, Kalonzo Musyoka was there, was seasoned politician, Kinakamodo and all those, Kinamudaba, who was seasoned politician, who had grown in the administration. But Moi went for a young man who was just been introduced to politics from a life, a personal life where he was. You can just bring out that picture. But today he has served 10 years as a president. what moral ground does he have to accuse another one, whether Ruto had any other challenges when he could not reflect on himself? Presidency is a development, is a growth. And for that purpose, number one, as I've said, whether he's a kingmaker, the question is this: he has had his time to serve his agenda. Political persuasion and mobilization is about manifesto and agenda. He has had 10 years to deliver on it. Beyond there, the law has not provided, has not foreseen a former president coming back to politics. What else does he want to succeed other than to retire and just a guide where there's guidance? Number two.
Now that he has not stayed away from politics.
Remember, he has served as president. Actively, he just retired the other day. At that position of presidency or that level of leadership, he carries a lot of influence. He carries followers. And a huge one. Remember, he has been the president of the Republic of Kenya. He carries followers.
Is he more influential than the current president?
No, I'm not speaking about that. We are speaking about Uhuru Kenyatta first. No, so the fact that he's not resting silent and allowing the nation to run with the current leaders, of course, those who are in power now and those who are not in power, because those who are not in power are checking those who are in power. Without allowing this to run and remaining as a statement person to only guide and advise where it's needed, the moment he is mixing himself with this, that's why all these conditions are coming in. And so it is wrong to say that he's a kingmaker. What kind of kingship is he still making when he has been a king himself? Or, number two, what is this interest that he feels any other person is scared of, and therefore he still feel actively want to marionate, another level of government? What is this? As a person, former president, what is this actively that he want to pursue? So indeed, to me, it's a question of interest, nothing else.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I can see we only have a few seconds to 7, but when we come back, I'll ask you a question about the same discussion before we move on to something else. You're watching Morning Cafe. Today we're asking, is Uhuru Kenyatta a silent kingmaker, a fading elite, or simply a convenient political scapegoat? Keep interacting with us. All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe on TV47 with me, Fred Indemuli. Today, the dailies are talking about a season 2 duel between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. And that's what we're examining today. And this question we're asking, is Uhuru Kenyatta a silent kingmaker, a fading elite, as some would wish him to be, or simply a convenient political scapegoat? Keep interacting with us. But when we started the conversation, we played a few clips. We played one with your party leader, the former deputy president, defending Uhuru Kenyatta. And clearly he sees the value of Uhuru Kenyatta probably politically going towards 2027 now. We also saw young people who had even planned to go meet the retired president at Ishaweri. Of course, that meeting did not take place. But clearly there are people who find that his input in this politics going towards next year's election is needed or helpful. Why do you feel that right now?
Like I said, the President Uhuru Kenyatta had President Ruto as his deputy. And they were not very clear. The relationship was not very nice as that from 2015. And you know what happened? He even sacked his ministers, some of them, who are very senior today in government, because he had issues with him. And he didn't hide. One thing about Uhuru Kenyatta, he didn't hide. On the second term, he decided he wasn't going to work with him. And it was very clear, my deputy is unfit to lead. And he said, you are going to regret. That is Uhuru Kenyatta. He never said it. It's not now he's saying it. Mm-hmm. He's not criticizing him now. He said it when. And those were words that ring in our mind. Then the prophecy comes to pass because of the collapse of every other institution in this country, and people are tired and angry and people are bitter. Now, you cannot tell the President Uhuru Kenyatta that he cannot exercise his right to do what he wants. Number one, there is no evidence. You asked him about ODM. There's no evidence. There's no evidence that he is disturbing the peace. There's no evidence that he is preventing the current president to do whatever he's doing. Mm-hmm. So he is not, you'd say, this man, he's using his being the former president to cause chaos or call people, tell him to go against the government or do murder manos. He is not, right? He's peaceful because he's retired. Allow the President Uhuru Kenyatta to retire in peace. Whatever he's doing in his private capacity, he is doing it under the Constitution. But number two, we don't need to change the Constitution or the issues of the age to become president. We have Obama. He was the youngest president I think in history. He's still there. And he joins the campaign trace for his candidates every year. He speaks. He criticizes the current president. Mm-hmm. So there is an example of how you behave when you retire early. You can go write books. You can go do whatever you could do. Obama is actively involved in the American politics. Mm-hmm. So this issue of saying, oh, we must put a limit. No. Anybody can be president whatever year. But let me say this, and this is very important. Now, I want to go with the third one, convenient scapegoat. Mm-hmm. Everybody who fails in ODM or leader Mwananchi, leader whatever is sponsored by Uhuru Kenyatta. Really? I think Uhuru Kenyatta must be very happy every morning he's waking up. And he sees himself, many years after he left power, he is in headlines. We are discussing him here. Everybody else is discussing him. He must be very happy because, I told you. Let me finish by saying this, friend. I don't see why. I will repeat this, it's so astonishing. You went claiming President Moi wants to kill your children, that he has done ABCD. Very bad words were used by the current president against Uhuru Kenyatta before the elections. Very straight words. And finally accused him of trying to kill his children, which was a lie, just to whip up the emotions. You remember the last few days, because we were there. And he literally abused him. He didn't see anything good with him. He said very bad things. He literally said he has corrupted the country. Then now you are going to kneel before him, saying, oh, please, why are you involving yourself in politics? Excuse me, if the prophecy of Uhuru Kenyatta has come to pass, this government has had all the power that they looked for so desperately. You cannot come crying now. I can tell you, Fred, this is what will happen. Uhuru Kenyatta has a right because he's an investor. He's not, by the way. Why they should leave Uhuru Kenyatta alone? He's not fine. All right. He is not fine. So they should concentrate on dealing with their own messes.
But according to the dailies, it is a duel between Ruto and Uhuru come 2027. Is this a vacuum that people are trying to feel? That yes, we have one principle in the incumbent president, William Ruto, but you're looking for a proper opponent and you're not finding, so we're going back to the former president. Do you believe that is what is happening? Are we not simply overplaying Uhuru Kenyatta's involvement in the current politics?
Either of them could be true, but I'm just, as ODM member of parliament, I think if Baba was still around, this would not have happened. Yeah. People would not have said it is Uhuru versus Ruto. I think the gap that also Baba created now, and we are almost nearing to the election, has caused some of these problems. And also, some of the cracks that we see in ODM political party is because, you know, when a big tree falls, you know what happens. And this is expected. Nobody in his sane mind would expect that a big political party like ODM would remain united completely when somebody like Raila died. We expect this, and history has it, all the years from 92, 202, all that. So I think at the moment, the most cunning politician, you know who is a very cunning politician? One, it is very difficult to predict his political moves. After studying him during his time as the president of this country for 10 years, and you know, he was also a finance minister. When you have been a finance minister, you have also been a president for 10 years, basically there is nothing you do not understand in terms of running of this country and the economy. And given that he's also a big investor in this country, himself and the family, his brother Moho and the whole family of Kenyatta, they are big investors in this country. And they have a lot of interest on how to manage some of their investment. And they would, being a kingmaker means, they would want somebody that they would remotely maybe control in terms of investments. And this could be, I think in my own opinion, sometimes the current president is not playing to their tune. So what do? You create an environment that would require that you are brought on the table. That is how politicians behave. Mm-hmm. When you see some politicians making a lot of noise, like I've seen the deputy president, I want to remind my colleague.
The former deputy president.
The former deputy president. He also once said that he was asking the current president not to go after his children. He is also saying that the same thing happened to our current president when he also asked former president not to go after his children. I think he was just whipping the emotions of the people around him. I don't like people who are doublespeak. And I said this even before the former president, deputy, was impeached. I said it many times, that some of the utterances, the pronouncements of the former deputy president is not consistent with the political environment that we require in this country. Okay. And he has continued to make some of those pronouncements. During the campaigns, because I was involved in the campaigns, he made very serious pronouncements and allegations against the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. And very critical issues he raised. And I'm just wondering why now he has realized that what he was talking about was not true. Mm-hmm. So these are double speaks. And we should not have such people in the political arena. We need people who can stick to their words. When I come here next year and you ask me, this is what you said, I should be able to defend what I say.
Dr. Mba, it is true. It is true that the former deputy president has been a very serious critic of the former president.
Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, he has shifted it.
He has raised an issue because we used a bite by the deputy president.
He has turned it.
And he has successfully done so. Why I'm posing the question to you.
So let me answer that for 1 minute. Yeah. You see, that is the whole problem I have with the entire broad-based government and all that. Now, why should they have a problem if Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua and Uhuru Kenyatta are on the same side? Politically, why do they have a problem with that? It is a goal to us. It's a plus. It's not a negative.
Are you telling us that Rigathi Gachagua is working with the former president?
I'm saying that the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua and the United Opposition and the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta has a right to support us.
You've not answered my question.
What's the question?
Are you telling us that Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua are working together.
In the middle, why?
Let me answer you. The Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is one term. The Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta believes there was a mistake that happened in Kenya, which he wants to right by making Ruto a one term.
Are they working together?
That is it. They are working together. It's the whole team. There's no secret about that. And many people are working together. I don't know why people in power are getting heated.
Yes, final word.
Sometimes it is interesting listening to my good friend here, Dr. Mbai, because he has a way of running away and excusing himself, but using the same tactics, because while Mheshimiwa is trying to bring the issues of a character of former deputy president, he seemed to be negating that. While he was presenting his case, he has diverged from the issue between Uhuru and William to the issue of governance of the current situation. But nonetheless, to say, Uhuru has come out clear. He has pronounced himself either by action or by words, by speech, when we've seen him fronting one Matiang'i at the expense of his own, quote-unquote, former deputy president, calling himself my own brother, who has shown national interest by mobilizing his community. Because at any given time, listen to his statement. He starts the statement, the preamble is, our people, my people, He's already secluding the focus of the nation at that level of discussion to our people, up to including Uhuru. At this one, I thank Uhuru for one thing. He has tried, and being the president, to always see and to demonstrate that, Kenya is bigger than one aspect, and I think we want to appreciate him for that. Because he has been a president and he understands that. Probably the other one served for a short time being the deputy president, and he needed time to understand that Kenya is bigger than one region, and that is where we should be speaking about this. But nonetheless, to say, as we conclude this, the bottom line is still, Kenya is a democratic country, and democracy is about persuasion and mobilization. But if we don't put some limits, probably whether it is by law or by aspect of positioning, and when your political question has no limit in terms of law, after serving your time, especially given that grace to serve at that office, learn and develop an art of honing the nation and be the custodian of the interest of the nation by virtue of serving so that you don't come down.
President William Ruto?
I don't expect him. I am still a young politician, of course, in his party now, and I expect him after 2032. I'm also growing. We're also growing young politicians. We should be given space.
He should stay away.
Yeah, he should stay away. All right. That's why I'm not critiquing Sifuna now. He's rising at his own time. Let him push his line. Let the others push their line, because we are young politicians. But let William Ruto and those who have been serving, the moment it gets there, let them exceed. Because Kenya is a generational transition. It's not a one generation aspect. We must also ensure that. And we've been telling students in school, you are future leaders. When will this future come? So we let them. It's good that he's up at this young time when he's still strong, and we're able to see his mind, the way he's sharpening the mind, the focus, the hope he's conferring, the way he's daring, challenging issues about the country. He has prepared the way he will do up to his limit, but no one will and has ever finished the work. You will do up to your limit and over the mantle.
All right.
To the part of to another generation.
Only that, Fred, nowhere in the Constitution or anywhere.
As the law stands right now.
You cannot gag.
Yes.
A former president, a former general, a former...
But you should not mix the nation.
So, and I don't know why. This is my last bit. I cannot understand, even when we talk here for 4 hours, why a sitting government that chased Uhuru out of town and say they have defeated him should be worried about him. Right. It means they have failed terribly.
Right.
This is guilt conscious.
The front page of the Daily Nation says
that's why they are. That's why they are.
The 2027 race is one to show Ruto versus Uhuru.
I don't think
season 2.
I can be elected and I go running away from people.
Gentlemen,
I was a nation who just managed the cost of living.
Honorero, you wanted to add something.
I just wanted to say something. That,
how completed?
No, let's allow you. When we make some statements, I would not want to use that because he's a daktari. I would have used, but he can
reprimand you.
You know that you cannot use, he's trying to insinuate that the current president has everything at his disposal that he can use against the former president. That I heard he has the tear gas, he has the resources. When you become the president, you must restrain yourself. You cannot go full throttle on a former president. And when you see the current president maybe complaining, although he has the resources, he has the ability to deal with any Kenyan as a person. But the institution of presidency requires a lot of restraint because this country is bigger than any of us. And the former president has his supporters. When he will go after him, then we will create chaos in this country. And the current state of affairs must be maintained. We must not use what we have at our disposal. You cannot use a hammer to kill a mosquito. When you are the president, you have the hammer. And you cannot use it against your citizen. Now the former president is a Kenyan citizen, and he also has his democratic right. The current president must not also be allowed to use the powers that he has to frustrate somebody who has been a former president. That's what I wanted to put.
All right, thank you for that. And the question once again we are asking, is Uhuru Kenyatta a silent kingmaker? What was the other question?
Fading elite?
Fading elite, yes, or simply a convenient political scapegoat. Yes, that's the question we're asking. Keep interacting with us on our various social media pages. You wanted a question, another question?
About his interest.
You're missing what you're asking. It's there on the screen. Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and YouTube. It is TV47 Digital on X. I want us to move on to another discussion. And this is a debate about the coalition formation between UDA and ODM. And it's always taken an interesting turn, especially when it comes to the position, the number 2 position. There have been very many pronouncements. Yesterday, the ODM chairperson, Governor Gladys Wanga, once again repeated her sentiments about ng'ombe nusu. It's no longer mkate nusu, ng'ombe nusu, and how they should divide it. Let's listen to what some of these leaders have said in the recent past about this coalition building.
Atubatishi ndio tumekubali Gladys Wanga na party leader waongee na UDA. Atubatishi sababu tunajua kwa kunda mbele 2027 tutakuwa kwa serikali. Na sasa hivi tuko kwa serikali, tumepewa 4 cabinet secretaries. Tukiendelea mbele, tukiongea na UDA tutapata tugawe serikali ili tuwe kwa power, si ndio?
Wamesema kwa sauti moja ya kwamba yale mambo ambayo iko kwa 10-point agenda lazima tufuatilie. Mambo ya compensation ya vijana wetu ambao waliumia wakati wa maandamano lazima tufuatilie. Mambo ya kazi kwa vijana, economic empowerment of our young people, lazima tufuatilie. Mambo ya pesa kwa mfuko ya vijana lazima tufuatilie. Mambo ya masomo ya watoto wetu lazima tufuatilie. Mambo ya afya bora lazima tufuatilie. Lakini hatuwezi pata hii mambo yote bila nini? Hiyo ng'ombe kama ni full, ikatwe katikati. Katikati nusu ni ya ODM, nusu ni ya UDA.
Nusu ni ya ODM, nusu ni ya UDA. Just falling short of saying that the number 2 position is theirs. Let's listen to what the other side has to say about this. This is a Kenya Kwanza side.
Mheshimiwa Uhuru, unatukera. Ulisema ukiwa pale Mombasa tukasikia. Kwa nini urudie tena na tena na tena? Wacha kukera sisi. Tunajua ya kwamba kiti ya naibu wa rais haiko wazi. Kiti ya naibu wa rais, it is not vacant. Iko na mtu ambaye anajua kufanya kazi yake. Iko na mtu ambaye amefanya kazi, amesaidia rais wetu wa Kenya kufanya hiyo kazi ikasimama sawa sawa.
Bwana Ruto, iko shida hapa. When it comes to discussing the number 2 position.
Ni shida.
Ni shida.
Ni shida. I've never seen political pacts discussion and understanding being done at the public baraza. It's always in the boardroom. The current arrangement between ODM and Kenya Kwanza was not done in the public baraza or on the roadside. It is a sitting which was done. Negotiation was done, because at any given negotiation, always you place your demand, and they have to place the demand, and then they agree. So there is nothing. I find it's very healthy that ODM are willing to engage and have a discussion of having a joint government, forming a joint coalition with the current administration. To me, it is very healthy if they are the 10-point agenda they are pushing, and the yellow plan, the yellow book of Kenya Kwanza, which is now running the nation, the issue of affordable housing, the issue addressing on the food security issue, the issue of infrastructure, all those put together, if they come and amalgamate, it's the best. But for them to negotiate and the others to negotiate, to me it's very healthy. I don't find it, I mean, anybody would want the best, but when it gets to the desk, then you have to agree. Of course, remember the current president as a working deputy president. So at any given negotiation, he will be negotiating from that point of the arrangement.
Yes.
The rest are saying, okay, look at this. Because politics is about numbers. We are mobilizing the following number, and we feel like the number behind us might be of importance. But then the main critical issue is how to have a government that is going to work for the people, a government
Yet
that is
it is
going
a fact
to advance
that the choice of
equity in
running
terms
mates-
of distribution of. That is
The
what I'm
choice of
saying.
running mate for the president is
That's what
going
I'm
to be
saying. Whatever they say it outside there, treat as it is outside there. Wait until the meeting is called and look at what
People are already
what-
discussing it in public. Don't you think
Right.
that is going to be an issue even for the
Have
president?
you ever seen anything drawn on the microphone? It's a question of creating a negotiating pressure. Remember, it's about the people, your supporters. So where you're going to communicate to your supporters, it's in public light. But the day that meeting is called, all of us will be interested to know the outcome of that.
When the president hosted a meeting with all UDA aspirants and UDA elected leaders at State House, I think sometime last month, there were those members of UDA who expressed concern that as you continue planning for this coalition, they were concerned about the kind of space ODM would come and take. Then we had those demands that the number 2 slot is what we are coming for. You don't share those concerns?
How is it far from what Roku is saying? It's a question of political divide where you come from. I mean, this leadership, especially the presidency, has been seen to be, I mean, anybody getting close there, it's a position that we are negotiating about it. And even in that meeting, it was not a big deal that it became a discussion because we are yet to go there. And the day we are yet to go there, parliamentary group meeting will be called. I'm sure ODM will call their parliamentary group meeting. Kenya Kwanza will have their parliamentary group meeting. Then the issues to be negotiated will be put in place and it will be voted
including
in, like
the number
we've
2,
been doing, because
including the number 2 position.
This is
it's
democratic.
up for the negotiation.
Of course, President will have to put across in that time. But to me, the current working relationship between the current deputy president and the president, it is working well for the country, and therefore, why should you change?
Okay.
It is not hurting anyone. It is not hurting any region. It is working well. And in any case, government not only about the deputy president, the other critical elements, look at they are saying,
right.
And they are even pronouncing what they are saying, we have 4 slots, and they feel, of course, maybe they can still negotiate for further more than that out of the 22, which is acceptable.
Okay.
Yes.
But you're saying the number 2 slot is not up for
As
negotiation.
it is for now, if you're asking me from the Kenya Kwanza, we don't have any problem like there before.
So there's no need to
It is
change
working.
that. Okay.
If it is working, why should you change?
All right.
But when that time comes to negotiate, because the other side will be saying, yes, this is what how we are coming in. This is what we are going to ask. And anybody has a right to place your expectation high. But when the negotiation comes in, there will be a meeting point.
All right.
Yes.
Listening to the CS, Ruku, talking about that, clearly there's a problem here. The demand from your end is ng'ombe katwe katikati. Ng'ombe nusu, that's what the chairperson talked about. Do you see this as a potential problem? You listen to Bwana Ruto and he says, okay, we should not be talking about number 2. There's already a person there.
One thing, you know where Ruku comes from, and you know the pressure on the ground, that they have to defend what they have. And I think our demand as ODM, a political party, is that we will negotiate in 2027. We will see, because in 2027, all the seats will be vacant, including the presidency, including the deputy president.
Yes.
They will be vacant. So from there, that is when we will know that what are you bringing on the table? And politics is about numbers. As ODM political party, when we come with the numbers, then we will say, this is what we want. If we don't have numbers, then they will also say, you don't have numbers, we cannot give. So it's about negotiation. But we cannot say that we will not demand for the deputy presidency. That one will be cheating ourselves.
Yes.
We are going to go flat out to demand for our rights, to demand for what we are supposed to get. If it is half, it is going to be half. Because we are a big movement.
Yes.
ODM is one of the biggest political
And you
parties.
believe half should be even on the presidential ticket, half ODM, half UDA?
You know, president is just one. But there are areas that we will have to negotiate. If it is the ministries, if it is other areas. And you see, when we are talking of ODM, we are talking of all Kenyans. You know, ODM has 18 governors in this country.
Buenorero, any cabinet position, you serve at the pleasure of the president. He can hire and fire at will, but he cannot fire his deputy. Do you believe that going for cabinet positions as a party would be enough for the chairperson to say, ng'ombe nusu?
No, that would not be enough. Because you know why people are saying that we have to go for the deputy president? Because now, the deputy president is not a vice president. He is shielded by the constitution and is elected also by the... It's not like those days of Moi that will, at 1 p.m. or by roadside, he has sacked the late Saitoti, may his soul rest in peace. This time around, our constitution, 2010 constitution, defends the institution of deputy presidency. And our parties are not welfare parties. They are not formed as a welfare organization. Parties, political parties, are formed to acquire power. And how do we acquire power? Either you go as a single political party or you go through coalitions. Many in Kenya now, at the moment, there is no single political party that will go alone without forming coalition. I can tell you from from the political standpoint. And that is why we are saying now we are going to negotiate with the ruling party so that we can have a formidable force to face the 2027 election. But we also have other means. If we don't agree, we have other options.
Yes.
We can negotiate with other political parties with the same and similar interests.
All right. Watching from the other side and seeing this discomfort growing, especially within the Mount Kenya leadership, about the position of the current person who's on the deputy president's position. We've had some members of parliament even threatening that if at all you try to tinker with that position, things will not be as good getting to 2027. How does that make you feel? Do you feel that now your side of the political divide is in a much better position?
Two things very fast. One, I hear what Mheshimiwa is saying, that ODM has 18 governors. I'd want him to ask, when the president was quoting Azimio or ODM, he was quoting the 2022 story, not in the 2027 story. I would want him to sit down today, go and tell me how many of those 18 would defend their seats on ODM and come back. That's another story altogether. But number two, the only hope ODM has to retain being ODM, a party with respect, right, into 2027, is simply allowing the Odinga, the Raila Odinga believers, to take over ODM, push it into a coalition with United Opposition. ODM now will have its own space and continue being ODM. Otherwise today, what the president is fighting for is a shell. Now let me go very fast. The Professor Kindiki knows in his heart that he will not be a deputy president in 2027. Why? Because out of the 47% that gave Ruto votes, right now, the popularity of President Ruto in Mount Kenya is about 2 to 3%. And these are the people who are eating tenders and all that. Those are right up there. 1%, 2% like that. It will be like 0.5 by next year. So I can tell you, it's all over there. Let's not deceive ourselves. There's nowhere Professor Kindiki, even himself, is hoping at all Mount Kenya people that they'll get a deputy president. Now, the story here, remember what Dr. Uhuru said the other day. He said, deputy president. Then, there was a lot of, I think, backlash from them. He was told, now, how do you say that? Then he retracted. He said, no, we have no problem with the deputy president. Then he was told by the other side, no, go back and say we want. Now, Wanga have said it. It is, we all know in this country, the position of the deputy president, as per the President Ruto's playbook, is for Wanga. We know. Now, all these other drama running around here will not help us. That's why you see, Wanga is thinking, Dr. Uhuru, you're not doing a good work. It's talking about me. I'll talk to myself. She has said it yesterday. Because that's what we know. Now, the only problem I see The only problem I see, and this, one thing I like Mheshimiwa, whatever he is a diplomat. Actually, he's one guy who is a very sober voice. Is that, and when you hear him talk, he knows what he's saying. The only problem I can tell President Ruto, he's negotiating with the wrong team. The team of Wanga and Johe and Badi and all that team, they don't have, the masses moved long time ago. The people are with Sifuna, Aida Odinga, Winnie, and by the way, for respect purposes, we all appreciate the fact that Aida, for what she has done for this country, let her go to UNEP. But no one person has shifted to broad-based. The fact that Mama has gone, we bless her, she has really suffered. Let her go enjoy some work to serve this country. I can tell you today, the people, if elections are held today, do you know what the beauty about this? 90%, if not 99%, of the genuine ODM supporters who love the Baba, they believe the only person who took after Baba, because Sifuna used to talk the things he's talking today when Baba was sitting there. Yes. And Baba would support him. So the people of ODM, the people. So I'm wondering, why is the president so much in a hurry to continue quoting? And they have been given a deadline of May 6 to merge. May 6. Now the issue came, they are still in Azimio. So they have to write again, wait for 90 days. Yet they have been given a deadline by the president of May 6 to have merged. Now, listen, finally, 10-point agenda is coming up. The anniversary is next week, I think March 6th. Now, there is nothing in the point of agenda that has been done. Yes. It has failed. And Sifuna told you, guys, it is me who signed. It is me. Baba told me at night what to write. And that thing was for convenience sake. It was for convenience. It was not meant to be.
Talking about Sifuna, you're negotiating from a weaker position. That's what he says.
You know, what I like about the Terry, that he is more ODM than the ODM.
No. we live in this country.
But the wrangles are playing out in public.
We live in this country.
He believe, you know, and now that he is not an elected member of parliament, there are certain things that we are privy to that is not as disposal. He is not private to what we are private to. And when he's talking about the genuine ODM member, you know, I represent the constituency of Baba. And that is Kibra constituency, the ideals of Baba. And my political mentor is Baba. And I believe in Baba. And there are many of those people like me who believe in Baba. And it does not mean that if you don't talk about Sifuna, you don't believe in Baba, no. And our political party is not about individuals. It's not about Sifuna, or it is not about even the party leader. We have structures within our party that guide and determine the operations of our party. So we cannot go out and say that ODM is about Sifuna, ODM is about Dr. Buru, ODM is about Gladys. No.
Okay.
We don't do that as a political party. Our structures is in all the constituencies and all the divisions in this country. When we just wake up and say, if you don't go with the Sifuna, then you are not somebody, if you don't go with the Dr. Bura. No, we talk about ODM as a political party, and it's a movement. So we are saying
despite the wrangling.
Yeah, the wrangling, of course, you know, all big political parties. I want just to remind my friend that when the secretary of UDA was removed the other day, there were no issues. Malala was removed. I don't know whether you remember that Malala was a secretary, was removed and replaced with my friend from Mombasa. And people did not complain much. It was a normal thing that it was done. And even when we look constitutional, how it was done, you know, youth went along Ngong Road and removed everything and locked the office.
But it did not result in the kind of rallies we see. Linda Mwananchi background. We'll discuss that in a short while. Let's get some feedback from our viewers online. And what are people saying about the conversations we have?
Of course, before we take a look at that, Fred, I just want to remind Honorable Peter Herrero that before Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga passed away, he's on record saying that who said we wouldn't be going for the top seats, the presidency. Just hold on to that thought, Mheshimiwa Herrero. But kule Facebook, only if UDA stand alone without any other party. Otherwise, aje sasa. This is Mildred Kasoho. We are talking about Scramble for the DP seat. Boniface Nampaso says, no, it will be a lady. Author Vincent Tobiko says, as who? Zakayo Nganga, any seat benefits individual and their family. Lutham Kenya says he will retain, and that's how he will increase the speed of one term. Baba Chumba, yes, why not? Sisi ni William na Kindiki. The Drick Brimas, the question should be, who will Ruto pick as the deputy president in 2027, Wanga or the youth leader himself? And the vulnerable man says, yes, he will. He was appointed by the president, not a political party. We have some more. All right. This is as far as your feedback is concerned, and we do encourage you to send some more. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. Dr. Mbaye, there's now a question here that we're having. Are you going to take Sifuna to your camp now that ameshikilia sana ground? Linda wananchi.
All right, that's a direct question to you. Go ahead, Ernest.
Thank you. Now, this is what is going to happen. That formation will continue, and that's why I'm saying we want Sifuna to get hold completely of ODM and the whole team. Finally, we want all those teams to come together into a super coalition. They are going to come into the united opposition, the super coalition we are going to have, and the only way for ODM to continue surviving in this country is for them to join this big house that's going to come with a big name of the super alliance in the coalition. That is how, because we respect parties, remember?
Including the part of ODM that he talks about, the one he represents.
No, what we are telling them, they are sitting members of parliament, and of course they have to clear a few things, they have work to do, they don't want to talk so much right now, okay? But I can tell you, Orero seated here, book a show here with him in January. I can tell you, all of them will begin saying, we never knew this government cannot work. They will leave. They will leave them alone. I can tell you, we are here. We have been here. When they went to school to study other things, I went to school to study.
So you believe Edwin Sifuna will lead ODM?
Will lead ODM
towards the united opposition?
And I'm not saying, by the way, he'll be the party leader or anything. I don't say that. The spirit, the Sifuna led Babu, Olengo, that team, they talk at night. And they say, you continue, let us first of all eat. Let's first of all eat and all that, Joho and the Wandai. That is the spirit. Because last time, they suffered the presidency for association with the sitting president. But they didn't eat. But they suffered the consequences finally because of association of Uhuru Kenyatta. This time they said, we must eat. The bottom line is eat first. That's why they say up to 2027. They say up to 2027. So that now they are working together. There's no let me tell you, it is them who think there's a problem in ODM. Them, they know there's no problem. Let me tell you, this is very important.
Yes, Dr. Mbaye.
ODM is one. Let me tell you what happened. And even when Baba was alive, Baba would tell Sifuna, go talk, attack the government so that we can have a lifeline where we end up. But Joho and Wandai and all these other people defend the government. That Orero, when he says they talk at night, because they say there's something, he's privy to some information I don't know. Now they'll be left alone. When you saw the aspirants at State House, when you saw the aspirants at State House, they were 12,000. 10,500 came from one region called Rift Valley. The rest of the country, they didn't have aspirants for UDA. Right. That's what is going to happen.
According to him, is that UDA is negotiating with the wrong side of ODM currently for a coalition.
He has a right to say what he wants, like what Orero said. He acts like he's more of ODM than the real ODM members. So he also acts like UDA than the real members of Kenya Kwanza already when he's fighting from the other side. I was just chilled by the word saying Wakule Kwanza to hit first. Then, why are they looking? What are they on coalition pushing for united opposition to make a government? Are they pushing this to come and hit? Is that the motivation for coming together? Why not Kule? I mean, that is wrong. If that's what we are sitting here to discuss, this wrong statement. It's a wrong perception of how we need to run governance. For your information, all these political parties, whether in coalition or in a single, are being established on a fundamental by law to establish a manifesto of running a governance for the people. As we speak right now, these people who they are calling themselves united opposition, many are not even one time, several times, Kenyans have been asking, what is your agenda? When they were in Kisii, they've been in Kisii, and though they are coming through Maimayu, they will be going to Nakuru. Up to now, other than saying one time, what is the agenda for the people of Kenya that is contrary to the agenda of the current administration on addressing the issue of food security, which have consistently ensured that despite the economic challenges and food security is ascertained and the cost of living is ascertained. The issue of employment is being push by this, either through construction economy, sector of economy, financial economy that is coming up well, the issues to do with, of course, employment, education, having tried as in the best interest to employ more than 100,000 teachers. Okay. I mean, as much as you want to accuse it's not working, but things are working there. What is this agenda? I would wish, even on my side, today to engage with Dr. Mbai on an agenda-based, not on a one-time issue, not on a united opposition, just for the sake of kukucha kukula.
Yes, but are you concerned that this one-term chants are growing now with this even the movement led by Sifuna and Babu Owino? Because they insist that even for them it is one term, and they look like they might just as well work with this.
The beauty of this in the Muli and for any Kenyans, at least there will be a divide to negotiate. I mean, to engage tomorrow when it comes to that time. For now, this divide of who are in administration, we are being followed by Kenyans on the agendas that was laid out clearly on the Yellow Book. Are we addressing the issue of education? Are we addressing the issue of construction sector? Are we addressing the issues of employment? Are we addressing the issues of security in the nation? Are we, I mean, on any sector on education, is this administration addressing? When that time that question will come, they will be on the other side, I presume. They will be on this. But of course, quoting Babu Owino, I know Babu Owino is my good friend, and he's been confiding to me, he's going for governor. So probably we should be speaking for something else, but I know he's going for Nairobi governor. His interest and his focus will be in Nairobi. But probably Sifuna, who has already shown interest that he would be fine for president, maybe he's trying to mobilize to negotiate for deputy president. To me, I want to pray for him. He's a young leader like me, and be it good for him when he's going to run for that. But we are waiting for that platform when this administration will be showcasing their agenda that they used to negotiate and persuade Kenyans to vote for, and now they have implemented it, and the agenda of one term, how they're going to implement one term as an agenda of addressing food security, addressing healthcare issues, addressing education issues, I mean, in generally social security issues and infrastructural security issues. Like now we are talking of expanding of the road all the way from Rironi towards Malapa, towards
the
Kisumu.
president promised that it will be ready by December.
Already the works are ongoing there.
We will have to wait for December.
Please, but still, all along said, he's already showing an intent and a good intention
of
opening up
around
those are the issues that we need to discuss.
The Linda Mwananchi movement. Many predicted that this movement, if we may call it that, would be short-lived, fizzle out within a few weeks. But it would appear that the Linda Mwananchi, going by the rallies we've seen, Kakamega, Kitengela, and the rest, that it is a growing movement. The latest indication is that that movement could work with a united opposition, and that whatever is left of ODM negotiating with UDA probably is a weakened or a diluted version of the party. Do you agree with that assessment?
We need to look at history of political parties and Kenyans as a whole. One, all the cities in this country are mostly opposition. When you go to any city, you go to Kisumu, you go to Kakamega. Kakamega is not a city. You go to Mombasa, Nairobi. Mostly, they are in opposition because the knowledge they have, they are more knowledgeable than people who are out. And again, most people move to the cities to look for jobs. And you'll find that the jobless people are always in the cities. And when you call for a rally, I want you to reflect when Simba Arati went to Kitengela to hold a rally after the burial of the late Raila Odinga. Just try to reflect the kind of the people that he gathered in Kitengela. There were many people. And also just see what happened when this Linda Mwananchi went to Kitengela. There were also many people. And sometimes these people, it never translates to votes. But I can tell you, when Gachagua started his one-term movement, it was like the country was ending the next day. Mm-hmm. But now, it has now been overtaken by this Sifuna, Linda Mwananchi. So just the way you have said, let us give it 4 months and see how it will unfold.
I assure you, even if you come to a laureate now, you will feel.
But what I like most with Kenyans, that they appreciate anything new, sometimes even without checking what it has for them. But this movement of the Sifuna guys, You have seen now Kalonzo has really gone down. I don't know what people are thinking about Kalonzo now, because we have not seen him come out. Initially, people thought Kalonzo will be the presidential candidate of the United Opposition. Before that, people thought Gachagua was the person with the ability to take on the current president. But Jubilee also called an NDC and endorsed Matiang'i as a presidential candidate, and we thought he would come with the flair and everything else. But you can see now these things are being balanced. It's just like a balloon that is being pricked and they come down. I am certain that after some times, this Linda Mwananchi, it will go down. Mm-hmm. People will come to their senses. People will sit on the table and try to agree and also analyze really what is best for this country. Okay. We are not, these political parties, let us look at also people who have this country at heart. What are they trying to bring to this country? Is it just rhetorics? Is it political gerrymandering? Is it about self-interest? We must, as a people of this nation, look at what is going to help us in the near future. I've always said that nobody would ever draw crowds more than the late Raila Amolo Odinga. At least in the recent past. Mm-hmm. We have never seen it. And you have seen that he never lived to rule. He ruled from outside the presidency of this country.
Despite the crowds.
Despite the crowd.
All right.
So this is a lesson that all Kenyans must learn from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before I engage you, Dr. Mbai, let's get a little bit more feedback from Kenyans. What are you saying as you watch us discuss this? Anne?
All right, let's take a look at some of the feedback, and we do encourage them to keep coming in. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. On WhatsApp as well, 0793267279 as our WhatsApp number. Tiana Mudhoni says, ODM scramble for the deputy president's slot looks premature. She continued to say, until there's clarity on who brings numbers, discipline, and a viable coalition path, this risks becoming elite musical chairs rather than a strategy voters can trust. Orange Democratic Movement needs coherence before ambition. ODM's DP joking signals ambition, but also insecurity. When succession talk leads policy, voters hear power, not purpose. We have some more. All right, ODM scramble for the deputy president's slot looks premature. Do you agree, Mheshimiwa Orero? Is it premature? That's my question to you.
Go ahead.
Oh. You know, she was looking the other side. And you know, me as a man, I always like being addressed, especially when a lady directly looking at me. That is why I hesitated. All said and done, I think I wonder why Kenyans just think that we are only looking for the deputy presidency alone. I think you heard it from the ODM chairperson that ng'ombe ni nusu.
Nusu.
Yeah. So this is just one of the areas that maybe we'll put on the table. And when we talk about a premature, as a political party, we have not even settled of the people who are going to negotiate. It is an intent, it is what we are put, it is what we think about. But even as we speak now, we have not, as a party, decided even on the people to negotiate about this thing. Because we had other things that we wanted to be fulfilled. We had the 10 points agenda before we start negotiating that we need to revisit and see how far have we gone with this 10 points agenda so that we take it from that level. And when you say it is premature, election is next year. The campaigns are on. You saw people in Kisii, just to go off the mark. Please, you will forgive me. Somebody invoked the name of the late Raila Odinga. You know, when somebody has died, we need to respect people who are dead. Okay. And we cannot use them to hype, and bring emotions among people. Timulikuwa mnadanganywa na mtu amekufa. Let us do our mature politics as a country.
Okay.
Let us sell our policy. So what I want to ask my dear lady who asked whether it is premature, I don't think so, because it's just an intent. We should not be taken out of the reasoning that we have. We are just saying that when our 10-point agenda has been met, or more than 90% met, and we still 1.5 years to go, not 1.5 years, less than that.
It's 18 months to go.
18 months to go. We need to start thinking about the political formations and coalitions at the moment. Because politics is you must plan for the future. You must plan for your political parties. You
That's
cannot
across board.
Yeah, you cannot sit pretty and the things will just unfold.
Yes.
So it is not premature. That is the
Dr. Mbaye, the cartoon on the People Daily has a caricature of all the leaders from the United Opposition. On one side, welcoming Sifuna. Sifuna suddenly becomes very attractive even to your side of the political divide. But what challenges does he bring there as well? Because the grouping had already moved a step or two towards coalition building. They appear to have hesitated to continue with that, probably considering what's happening with the Linda Mwananchi movement. Do you agree that that has also complicated the arithmetic for you people?
Definitely, we are willing, or we are not willing to leave any part of the country aside, or any part of coalition that is talking about one term. That is why we are not in a hurry. And I'm happy that they are confused. That is it. They don't know what to attack. You know, the system goes after Gachagua, then they discover, and NIS tells them, Kalonzo, if elections are held today, that's about a month ago, he's a leading. Then the president starts attacking him with Sekuru routes. A very low key, you know. You know, going to attack somebody because of a road and all that. Then, before they know, Matiang'i comes on board, and you can see what happens in Kisii. Then, leader Mwananchi here with Sifuna. That is our game plan. We must keep them busy guessing who is the presidential candidate. We are not in a hurry. The president would want to announce them today, so he can begin attacking them for you know, having him for breakfast and lunch and dinner until December. He's get up. That would be what the system would want. And we know that the same way.
I want him to look at that cartoon.
Let me tell you.
Just look at the cartoon and interpret.
Look here, Fred. The same way the President Ruto really hammered Raila Odinga from 2013. You know, mtu ya kitendawili, lord of poverty, mtu wa kung'oa reli, black man, you know, it literally even insinuated he goes to Nigeria to look for witchcraft, right? That is what Ruto would want to do with our presidential candidate. So we are not in a hurry. Let them see everything happening. By the way,
Sifuna complicated it for you guys.
Let me tell you, he has made it better. Why? We didn't want to leave the Luo Nyanza or ODM fraternity aside. It is making it better. Let me tell you, was the coming together of all the parties in 2002 complicated or make it better? It made it better. There was a bigger team, so that it came to, I think, 60%. You know, Kibaki won by over 60%. That is what we are looking at. Actually, let me tell you, we are waiting for more players from the coast.
Do you agree that the Sifuna movement has overtaken the United Opposition, as he suggested?
Now, that is a confusion the state is grappling with. That is a pain they have, because they don't know who to attack. The other day, can you imagine, we were at Lweswambu with the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. We were not attacked, but the police went and attacked Sifuna. They don't know where to attack, you know. They don't know whether to attack Matiang'i or Natembeya is coming up, by the way, very soon. Natembeya is coming up from the western in a big way. He'll go all over the country alone, again, as another force. So what are we saying? It has not complicated us. It's making it better.
Okay.
And by the way, it's not a few people who will go decide the presidential candidate. As we move on, the people are helping us to decide who is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, and all that in our coalition. So Coast is coming, maybe with a party, you know, Chilawa Alimokwele with GOtv. We have some people coming from Northeastern. Rift Valley, we are going there for 5 days. Rift Valley here. We are making an entrance tomorrow. Mulod Bomet was just passing by. Okay? We will make a good incursion to Nakuru on tomorrow. Through Mahio, Naivasha, then Nakuru at Khan House tomorrow at 4, where we are going to send a signal across the country because all the communities are there, and then we are going to go for 5 days because we also want friendship in Rift Valley. Maybe somebody is going to emerge with a party and say, I want to be on the table. He's going to go around. Maybe he's going to be very powerful. We are not. We want everybody to be on board. And I want to finish. I want to finish.
I just want to give, because of time, briefly.
Very briefly, 30 seconds. Please. We don't owe our agenda as United Opposition to President William Ruto and the system. They should be giving us their scorecard. 20 trillion later, 4 trillion of debts. they should tell us what they have done with youth empowerment and all that kind of things.
Thank you, Dr.
Our agenda is to the people of Kenya. We are giving it at the right time. So we don't owe this
coalition.
Listening to Dombai is when you realize this coalition or the united opposition is a united confusion, because they have no clear agenda, they have no clear focus. One thing I just need to remind them is that, and any other leader, do not ever undermine the intellectual capacity of Kenyans. We have a very enlightened population, and they are very keen, and they are reading, they're able to understand. If you have been following the trail of this united opposition, and any speech, and any speech they are making, the insults, the words they are using that undermines the society. You know, we are a moral society, and there are values that we protect. But if you look at the utterances that are being made, the kind of lies that are being held, you know, words of incitement, you just left asking yourself, then, if given power today, what do they give Kenyans? What better option do they have better than what William is running with now, is implementing? That's what we need to tell them. 18 months is just tomorrow. They cannot tell us that, oh, they are still waiting them, they are hiding their candidate. Okay, other than one term, what do you want to give Kenyans?
All right.
Yes, that's the biggest question.
I wanted to look at that cartoon.
The cartoon on the People Daily.
And
let's have it on screen.
And just tell my friend that politics, one thing is about self-interest. You can look at the face of Kalonzo and Matiang'i asking Sifuna, what are you bringing to us? Because they have been the kings there. And now, a senior somebody coming and want to displace them from their comfort zone. When you look at all those people, Martha Karua served in Kibaki's government for a long time. And when we won the 2007 election, because I was there, a very young person, youthful, she went and swore in a president at night. What moral authority would he want to tell us that she's going to bring a change? Kalonzo has been the deputy president of this country. Wamala was the defense minister. Matiang'i was the interior minister. Worked very closely with Uhuru. I'm only seeing Sifuna there. Because he has not been tried, he has not been tested.
But it's causing confusion.
Yeah, maybe he's the only one we can talk about. We know the characters of all these players that you see here. I want Kenyans to judge. We can judge people by what they can bring to this country.
Okay.
Let us, as Kenyans, let us not use emotions.
All right.
Let us not obey and use rhetorics to try and judge our leaders. Let us judge our leaders with their policies, their manifesto, and how they are going to implement this to impact positively on the lives of the Kenyans.
Peter Orero, asante sana, MP Kibra constituency. Dr. Peter Mbaye, Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs of the DCP, and Julius Ruto, MP KSS. Asanteni sana. This has been our panel this morning on TV47, taking a look at the big headlines. Why is Uhuru on the front pages? Why is it being seen that 2027 race is now a duel between President Ruto and his predecessor, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta? Also, the deputy or number 2 position to William Ruto come 2027. Also a hot discussion, and of course, the man of the moment, Sifuna. Sifuna. Mimi ndio Sifuna, sisi ndio Sifuna, causing jitters across the entire political landscape, both for united opposition and, of course, the...
Where will Tawe be? Because both of them come from Western. So yes. Tawe, Mimi is Sifuna, I don't know. Which one is yours now?
Meanwhile, our viewers, thank you so much for the feedback you've been giving us throughout the show on the questions we've been asking on Uhuru Kenyatta and others. I don't know if we have any more feedback right now. We do have our WhatsApp number on the screen as well, 0793-267-279. Once again, 0793-267-279. You can send us your feedback on all that we've been discussing. After the break, we'll be switching gears and talking matters health, understanding cervical cancer. Afrin Shafi, a gynecologic oncologist, will be in studio to have a sit down with Anno Dida. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. See you after the break.